What if I told you that our most deeply held beliefs about sacrifice, about virtue, are, well, completely backward? Today, we are diving into a really powerful piece of philosophy that does exactly that. It's short, it's sharp, and it's going to challenge you to rethink what it actually means to live. So, the author doesn't waste any time, right? We just jump right in with pure contempt. This opening line basically takes our reverence for martyrs and says, "You're all fascinated by morbid performance art." It's a total provocation, and it's designed to make us immediately question everything we thought we knew about sacrifice. And here's where the author really starts to build the case. The whole idea is to reframe martyrdom. We're asked to stop seeing it as some lofty spiritual act and instead look at it through the cold, hard lens of economics. It's a transaction, a business deal, and, according to this text, a really, really bad one. So you have to ask, right? To what end? What's the point of the whole spectacle? Why do we keep relics and tell these stories with such awe? The author is pushing us to look past the drama and ask a simple question. What is the real goal here? And the answer this text gives? Whoa, it's just scathing. The goal isn't some divine glory. No, it's about plain old human vanity. It's a strategy, you see, for someone who hated life to make absolutely sure they stay in the spotlight, even after they're gone. The text literally calls this a pathetic economy. And here's the balance sheet. The investment? It's pretty small when you think about it. One quick, dramatic death. The supposed reward, the payout, it's infinite, an eternal afterlife. The author sees this as a terrible trade, a desperate bet made by someone who just doesn't value the one life they actually have. Okay, so it's a bad investment, but the critique goes even deeper. It's not just about a poor transaction. The author is trying to reframe the entire act, arguing that what we've been taught to see as noble and brave is actually built on a foundation of fear. Think of it this way. A promissory note is a promise to pay later. So the author is saying, the martyr's last breath is like writing a check for an infinite fortune, but it's drawn on a bank that doesn't exist. It's this huge, grand promise based on a future that, in the author's view, is never, ever going to materialize. So if it's such a bad deal, why are these stories so popular? Well, the text points the finger right at the audience, at the mob. The argument goes that people who are kind of scared to live their own lives to the fullest, well, they love a story about someone who just gave theirs up completely. They cheer for the big gesture, but they miss what the author calls the underlying refusal. The refusal to actually engage with life's beautiful, messy, chaotic reality. And this all leads to the author's most brutal conclusion. That grand sacrifice? It isn't courage. In fact, it's the ultimate cowardice. It's a final, dramatic escape from the difficult, challenging, and wonderful task of actually living. But just when you think it's all about tearing things down, bam, the whole text just shifts on a dime. After completely demolishing this old ideal, it starts to build something new, something it claims is way harder and way more admirable, a new miracle. And this is it. This is the miracle, the liquefaction of the soul. I know, it's a strange and powerful metaphor, right? But it represents the author's alternative path. It's a philosophy that isn't about renouncing life and dying, but about transforming yourself and living. So what on earth does that mean? Well, unlike the quick, flashy death of the martyr, this is a slow, quiet, internal process. And look at the words used: difficult, painful. This is about melting away all the stuff that makes us rigid and cold, resentment, fear, even the kind of strict, hardline morality that can freeze your heart and stop you from really living. And this journey of thawing your soul, it's not about getting to a final static place like heaven. No, it's all about starting a process, a movement towards something fluid and vast and endless, something the author calls the sea of becoming. You can almost see it happening in 3 stages. First, you're frozen, locked up by fear and resentment. Then comes the thawing. That's the hard work, the painful process of confronting all that frozen stuff inside you. And the goal? To get to a state of flowing, where you can finally move with life and embrace all of its wild, unpredictable currents. And this is the absolute game changer. The soul that's gone through this thawing process, it's not looking for a reward in some other world anymore. Its entire desire has been redirected away from a heavenly afterlife and toward the rich, chaotic, immediate experience of life, right here, right now. Which brings us to the ultimate expression of this whole philosophy. It's not about just enduring your life or sacrificing it. It's about becoming a connoisseur of existence, someone who can appreciate and savor every single part of their fate, the good and the bad. I mean, look at the contrast here. It couldn't be more clear. The martyr's goal is an afterlife. The connoisseur's is that untamed sea of becoming. The martyr finds truth in giving up and dying. The connoisseur finds it in a relentless affirmation of life. For the martyr, courage is one big theatrical sacrifice. For the connoisseur, courage is the daily, ongoing grit of confronting existence head-on. And we'll end with the text's most powerful idea: to love one's fate. This isn't about just passively giving in. No, it's presented as a fierce, active, joyful acceptance of everything, the beautiful, the terrible, all of it. So the text really leaves us with a question, doesn't it? Is true courage found in one grand exit? Or is it found in the difficult, triumphant, everyday art of becoming a connoisseur of your own existence?